After the Arsenal beginning of bottling yesterday, it is Manchester City 3 and Chelsea 0. And honestly, I'm seeing a City team and players and a manager that are smelling blood. And we know about what Man City in April are like, and we know exactly what Arsenal's Arteta in April are like. And that doesn't bode well for the Arsenal fans that are clinging on to that little bit of hope that they won't make hard work of it and that they won't end up not getting over the line in the end. Because tonight, not going to lie, Arsenal's looking ominous. And as I said, I'm watching the City players. Obviously, they started the first half. City were very sleepy and very lackadaisical. Didn't really look like they had a lot of urgency. And then as soon as he turned up in the second half, the mismatch between both teams was ridiculously huge. But what I'm going to say is, when you're looking at like the vibe of the players and you're looking at the way that the post-match interview with Guehi and Cherky, and you're looking at just kind of the general vibe, I'm looking at a confident City team that look very assured, look nerveless, and look like they are almost smugly expecting to catch Arsenal. And if I'm Arsenal, be very scared, because it's looking peak, bro. It's looking peak. Because that is now 3 games in a row, by the way, that Chelsea have lost without scoring a goal in the league. And that is the first time they've done that since 1998. And Liam Rosenior, PE teacher, AI motivational speaker, the cringe bot, looks like he's out of his depth. And honestly, every time that Liam Rosenior comes on the screen and there's a sound bite or there's a quote or there's a cliche that he says or whatever, I can, if we feel this way as people watching from the outside when we see it, I want to know what the players that are around him quite often, hearing him say these things, what are they like? Because a massive important element of management, is commanding the respect of your players and that authority and that type of presence. My man just looks like one of them guys where he's trying to be your friend and it's all PE teacher vibes and it's all happy-go-lucky. And I believe, especially when you're managing a club like Chelsea, the size of it, with the personalities and the egos and the big stars that you generally are managing, Liam Rosenior couldn't be any further away from being that guy. And whether you think it's too soon, and clearly have come out and said that they're backing him and he's at least getting the summer window, he's never going to make it here. Let's be real. He's never going to be a successful Chelsea manager. He doesn't look like one. He probably doesn't smell like one. He doesn't sound like one. And I'm looking at a team that's toothless, meaty, bang average, and a team that look like they've half given up the ghost. They're so featherweight, by the way, and I think that is why it's the cojones, isn't it? They don't really have that. And I think that emanates from Liam Rosenior. But honestly, that second half performance today was pathetic. Like 2 teams on complete different stratospheres, and the fact that you're playing against a City team that were basically going through the motions in the first half, playing poorly, Rodri was stinking it up, you having little bit of opportunities and little moments, and honestly City probably couldn't have been more flat or worse, and you don't capitalise. And then as soon as the second half starts, they pick it up a little bit, and all of a sudden, you're 1-0 down, you're 2-0 down, you're 3-0 down, could be 4-5, and it looks like they're just walking around you, they're bopping it, you're hearing Ole's in your own stadium. Do you know what I mean? Chelsea, watching 2 soulless institutions today, because when Chelsea do have that kind of vibe, don't know if that's like obviously a West London thing or what. My apologies to anyone from West London watching, but nah, don't have the stomach. You've got the City away fans, I feel like, for the last for half an hour. When I was kind of like passively watching and I'm looking to the left, looking to the right, I'm on my phone, I'm hearing like these cheers and these gasps, and I'm thinking, oh, Chelsea must have a chance now. That is generally, correct me if I'm wrong, when you're watching a team at home and you're passively watching and your attention kind of drifts at any point and you hear like some loudness or a cheer or noise or a gasp or some sort of uproar, you generally think it means that the home team are getting a chance, an opportunity. There's a decision that could go their way. And every time it happened and I'm looking, it's City are almost scoring, and I'm thinking, how quiet must you be, Stamford Bridge, and the Chelsea fans? Had the life sucked out of them. Felt like I was watching a game in the Etihad. To be fair, I was gonna say it felt like watching, like it was City at home. That's the way it sounded like, but then it doesn't really work with City because it's the empty ad, no fans. They have fake noise on speakers. It doesn't really work. But honest to God, that was an embarrassment. I don't know if Chelsea, obviously with their rivalry for Arsenal, thinking they wanted to give City a helping hand. Who knows? But United have an opportunity next week. If we beat Leeds tomorrow and we beat Chelsea next week, from the United standpoint, we could go 13 points clear of Chelsea after all they've spent. Honest to God, that money ball experiment that are going down there, it's a travesty. All that money spent, the recruitment policy to look at their starting 11, look at their players, and it looks so mediocre. Moises Caicedo, by the way, I think that has to be one of the worst performances I've ever seen him do. And for someone that I've seen as a world-class player and a performer, I don't know if he's been dragged down to a level or if he's just coming back down to earth, but he's been quite poor every time I've watched him recently. Is that a Liam Rosenior effect? But not one of them turned up. That's the most I've seen Cole Palmer run, by the way. Don't know if it's the most intensity that I've shown. He weren't like perfect, but he actually looked like he was giving a shit. And I don't know if that's because he's playing against his old team, wanting to prove a point. But from a City standpoint, we'll talk about Ryan Cherky, because it hurts to see someone like that playing for Man City and playing for a rival team, because I think he's a wonderful footballer. He's everything that you'd like. 2-footed, no angle bias at all. Creativity. He has the bravery to try things. Expresses himself on the pitch. None of this robotic long throws and duels and physicality behaviour that's kind of infiltrated the Premier League. When we do have the little bit of a Mavericks like that, I know he frustrates some people and some of the general public and the masses. Those are the type of footballers I like. And domain expansion. Shout out Juju Kaisen from Turkey. Activated it in the second half. Took over the game. 2 assists. 2-0. And Nico O'Reilly has cemented himself as a proper clutch. Almost taking that mantle from Gundogan of becoming a clutch just-in-time scorer, box-crashing type of player. And what a find he's been. Left back, midfield, versatile. Got size about him. Good in the air. He's going to be an important player for Man City for a very, very long time. And I'm a salty bastard, man, because when I'm seeing players like Nico O'Reilly doing what they're doing, I'm kind of just like, you know what? When's the next Manchester United Le Carrington star that's going to come and break through and do that since we've had Mainu? Will it be Shea Lacey? Will it be Jim Thwaites? JJ Gabriel coming up soon? Ajayi? All I need is one, just one at least. Because there's nothing like, as a fan, having an academy graduate break into the team and become a pivotal part of your success. I think we always have like an affinity for that type of behaviour. But honestly, April, City, scary. Erling Haaland is a bit of a strange case. Thiago's only 1 goal behind him now. Thiago's on 21 after a brace this weekend. Haaland on 22, and he feels like he's been stuck on 22 for weeks now. And he's not quite making the runs that I'm used to seeing him make. He's not quite having the sharpness. And it's not just the runs in the box. It's not just a case of him not getting the service. I just feel like he's not really making himself available and not making them long busting bursts and behind as much. Not really going out of his way. So they're doing it almost in spite of Haaland at the minute. And City have to be worried about that, because he could just always activate next week and actually make a nuisance of himself in a running, because he hasn't really been. But the importance of the signing, I think, of Semenyo and Gehi, and obviously Rodri returning, and the physicality that it's brought them, and it shows what you can do as a club when you have unlimited funds and you can spend like 100, 200 million in middle of the season in January when your season's going left like Man City have. Must be nice, innit? But they look like a well-oiled machine, and obviously without having any Champions League football to contend with, and it's mostly just domestic stuff. And Arsenal almost have one eye on the Champions League as well. I think if you're a betting man, it's looking quite spooky for them Gunners out there, you know. It's looking a bit nervy. But obviously Nico O'Reilly did go down, hamstring injury. I think missing out on him as that left back and that kind of box presence and that extra size and height that he brings, which you need against Arsenal, if he's out for any amount of time, that's going to be a major plus for Arsenal. Obviously unlucky enough, but also if it is a bad hamstring injury, then you're going to wonder what it does for his ability to be fit for the World Cup, because I think Nico O'Reilly is going to be Young Player of the Year PFA, and he will be someone that is definitely going to be on the plane for the World Cup. So you just got to keep an eye on whether that hamstring injury is a bad one. But honestly, Liam Rosenior, Chelsea, I love to see it strengthen United's top four chances, which I think we could solidify anyway. It's just a shame that Liverpool won. But honestly, Chelsea are finding themselves in a situation where they actually have to look behind them. Believe it or not, top six, I believe, or top five, even top six could be Champions League football this season. If Villa win the Europa League and they finish sixth, that means, I think that's an extra place for the English teams in the Champions League. But honestly, look behind Chelsea. I think Brentford are only like a couple of points behind them. You've got Everton making a late surge. Funnier things have happened, but how crazy would it be if Brentford end up catching Chelsea and end up getting a possible like Champions League, Europa League place? What would be the scenes? And that would be quite indicative of what the Premier League has become. A lot of good teams, very high floor, and no results are given. Especially when we watched earlier, and it looks like Tottenham actually might be in serious trouble of going down. It's not just a joke at the minute. It looks like a definitive possibility. But Pep, City, look like they smell blood. They saw Arsenal drop points yesterday, and he turned up and he done the business very comfortably today. And Arsenal, your butts are clenched, and they might get tighter after next week. But I will see you next time. I'll be back tomorrow for the review for Leeds, where hopefully we pummel those Yorkshire boys. And remember to like, comment, subscribe, hit the hype button, and I will see you next time.